Have you ever opened your kitchen cupboard and realized there are more supplement bottles in there than food? Maybe you've picked up a new vitamin because a friend swore by it, or you saw an ad claiming it could fix everything from fatigue to joint pain. It's easy to get overwhelmed. Every label says it's essential, every commercial makes it sound urgent, and before long, you're not sure what's helping and what might just be expensive pee. The truth is, as we move into our later years, our bodies start handling nutrients differently. What used to work for us at 40 might not cut it anymore, and what once didn't matter might now be vital. But here's the catch: not every supplement on the shelf is worth your time or money. In fact, some might even be doing more harm than good. And that's what we're diving into today. This isn't about taking everything under the sun. It's about being smart, targeted, and a little skeptical. There are supplements that genuinely support your health as you age, and there are others that are just riding the wave of clever marketing. And when you're on a fixed income or trying to simplify life instead of complicating it, knowing the difference can be empowering. Let's begin with something most people have heard about: calcium. The moment you reach a certain stage of life, people start handing you calcium chewables like they're candy. And while calcium is definitely crucial for bone health, especially when bones naturally begin to thin with age, it's not something to take blindly. The problem isn't always about not getting enough, it's about how your body uses it. You can pop calcium pills all day, but without the right support, your body might not absorb it well, and that excess can wind up in places you really don't want, like your arteries. That's why calcium shouldn't be taken alone, but we'll get to what pairs well with it in a moment. Now, let's shift to something often overlooked: magnesium. You don't see as many flashy commercials about it, but it plays a quiet, behind-the-scenes role in hundreds of functions in your body. If you've been feeling more anxious lately, or your sleep hasn't been as restful as it used to be, low magnesium might be part of the issue. And here's what's interesting: magnesium helps regulate the very calcium we just talked about. It's like a backstage crew member who makes sure the star of the show hits their mark. Without it, things can get a little chaotic. Another big name you've likely come across is vitamin D. And this one has earned its spotlight. It's not just for bones. It supports the immune system, helps with mood, and even impacts muscle strength. The tricky part is it's often called the sunshine vitamin, and unless you're out in the midday sun a few times a week, which, let's be honest, many people aren't, you might not be getting enough. And it's not something your body stores in large amounts, so if you go without it for long, the effects can creep up on you slowly and subtly. You might feel more tired, catch colds more often, or notice a dip in your mood without realizing why. A simple blood test can tell you if you're low, and if you are, the fix is simple and affordable. And speaking of affordability, that brings us to a supplement that's often misunderstood: multivitamins. You've probably seen those huge jars at the store promising everything in one pill. But just because it has a bit of everything doesn't mean it's what you need. Most multivitamins are stuffed with things your body already gets enough of, or worse, things that don't absorb well. It's like trying to water every plant in the garden with the same amount, even if one's a cactus and another's a thirsty fern. It doesn't work. Instead of relying on a multivitamin to do all the heavy lifting, it's better to understand which nutrients your body specifically needs and go from there. Now that we've talked about what might actually help, it's just as important to talk about what to skip. Not because it's harmful in small doses, but because it's unnecessary and often overpriced. There's one supplement that seems to be everywhere lately, from capsules to drink powders: collagen. Yes, it's the one they say will make your skin glow and your joints feel 20 years younger. But here's the truth: your body breaks it down just like any other protein. It doesn't magically go to your skin or knees. If you're eating a balanced diet with enough protein, you're likely getting what you need already. Don't let a slick label talk you into spending more than you have to. Another one to approach with caution is iron. While it's absolutely essential in certain cases, especially if you've been diagnosed with anemia, it's not something to just start taking without reason. In fact, too much iron in the body, especially as we age, can lead to issues with the liver, heart, and other vital organs. If you haven't been told you need it, don't assume it's a good idea. Iron is one of those nutrients that's best handled with a little guidance. So what's the bottom line here? You don't need to take everything. You don't need a cabinet full of pills to stay healthy. But you do need to listen to your body, ask the right questions, and make informed choices. Supplements can be incredibly helpful, but only when they're chosen carefully and paired with the real essentials: good food, regular movement, sunshine, sleep, and meaningful connection. Now that we've walked through the foundation of what's helpful and what's not, let's dig a little deeper into how to know what's right for your personal needs. It's one thing to hear about which supplements may help and which ones aren't worth the hype, but it's a whole different story when you're standing in the pharmacy aisle, holding a bottle and wondering if it's going to make a real difference in how you feel. That's the moment where information becomes power. Not marketing, not flashy promises, just clarity about your unique needs. One of the best ways to get that clarity is by checking in with how your body responds day to day. Think about the little things you've been noticing. Maybe you've been waking up stiff, or your memory has felt a bit foggy, or you've had more trouble getting through your normal routine without feeling worn out. These aren't just signs of getting older. They can be signals that your body's calling for support in a specific way. Let's talk about something that often goes unnoticed but can have a big impact: B vitamins. You might have seen them bundled together as B-complex, or maybe just vitamin B12 standing on its own. What's important to know is that B vitamins help fuel your body. They support the way your cells produce energy, and they're crucial for a healthy nervous system. If you've been feeling low on energy even after a good night's sleep, or you've had that pins and needles sensation in your hands or feet, a B12 deficiency could be part of the picture. This is especially true if you've cut back on meat or dairy, or if your body isn't absorbing nutrients as efficiently as it used to. Now, another supplement that deserves attention isn't actually a vitamin or mineral at all. It's omega-3 fatty acids. These are most commonly found in fish oil, and they've been shown to support everything from heart health to brain function. But what makes omega-3s especially worth considering in your senior years is their ability to help reduce inflammation. That stiffness you feel in your joints or that lingering soreness after walking or gardening might not just be aging. It could be silent inflammation. And omega-3s work like tiny fire extinguishers in your system, helping to calm that down. Of course, not everyone enjoys fish or wants to eat it often. That's where a high-quality fish oil supplement can step in. But quality matters more than quantity here. You don't need a giant capsule that smells like a bait shop. You need a clean, well-sourced oil that your body can absorb easily. It's not about how many milligrams are on the label. It's about how your body feels after taking it consistently. Now let's shift to a lesser-known player in the supplement world, coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10 for short. This one doesn't usually get as much spotlight, but it plays a major role in energy production at the cellular level. It's like the spark that helps your body's engine run smoothly. If you've ever felt like you're moving through molasses, or your stamina just isn't what it used to be, CoQ10 could be worth a conversation with your doctor. Especially if you're taking certain medications like statins, which can deplete your natural levels over time. And what's interesting is that many people notice a real difference in their energy when they add this into their routine, not overnight, but gradually in a steady, noticeable way. While we're here, let's take a moment to consider the emotional side of all this. It's easy to feel discouraged when you try something new and don't see results right away. Maybe you've taken supplements before that promised more energy, better sleep, or glowing skin, and none of that happened. That can leave you feeling like nothing works. But your body isn't a machine that turns on instantly. It's more like a garden. You water it, tend to it, give it the right nutrients, and then you wait. Sometimes the improvements come slowly and quietly, and sometimes they show up in the most unexpected ways, like getting through the day without needing a nap, or realizing your hands don't ache as much after holding a book. That's why it's not about trying everything. It's about giving your body what it's truly asking for, and letting go of what's just noise. Speaking of noise, there's a growing list of trendy supplements out there that might sound exciting, but don't offer much for your stage of life. One of those is biotin. It's heavily marketed for hair and nails, but unless you've been diagnosed with a deficiency, there's very little evidence that taking extra biotin makes a noticeable difference. You're more likely to get results from supporting your body overall than zeroing in on one cosmetic concern. Remember, strong hair and nails usually reflect what's happening inside, not what's going on at the surface. Another one you might hear about is activated charcoal. It's often promoted as a detoxifier, and while it does have medical uses in certain situations, it's not something that should be part of a daily routine. It can actually interfere with how your body absorbs medications and nutrients. It's another example of how something that's natural isn't always automatically safe or necessary. And this is where we circle back to something simple but powerful: listening to your body. When you begin to pay attention to how you feel after eating certain foods, moving a certain way, or taking a specific supplement, you start building a deeper relationship with your health. That's more valuable than any pill you can buy. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed or confused by all the bottles, powders, and promises out there, take a breath and remind yourself you don't need to try everything. You just need the right things at the right time for the right reasons. Because feeling good in your body is not about following trends. It's about tuning into what helps you thrive. And that brings us to an even more personal part of this journey. There's a certain kind of honesty that comes with age, the ability to say, I've tried enough to know what does and doesn't work for me. But even with that wisdom, the world of supplements can still feel like a maze. One day you're told to add something new to your routine, and the next you're reading that it might not be safe at all. That's why it's important to think less about the shelves in the store and more about what's going on inside your body. Think about the last time you had blood work done. Did it show anything a little low or borderline? Maybe it was your iron levels, or maybe your calcium wasn't quite where your doctor wanted it to be. These little markers can hold the clues to what your body might be needing more of, not forever, just for now. Supplements aren't meant to be lifetime crutches. They're more like scaffolding. You use them to support the parts of you that need building back up, and then you step back when the structure feels strong again. That's why it helps to stop thinking about supplements as a forever fix. They're not magic potions, and they're definitely not a substitute for good sleep, nutritious meals, or joyful movement. But they can step in when life throws something off balance, like an illness, stress, appetite changes, or medications that deplete certain nutrients. The real value comes in knowing when to take them, and just as importantly, when not to. One example that often gets overlooked is magnesium. It doesn't get nearly as much attention as it should, but it quietly supports over 300 different functions in the body. From muscle relaxation to calming the nervous system, magnesium is like the friend who always shows up in the background, making sure things stay on track. If you've ever had leg cramps at night, trouble falling asleep, or felt unusually tense even when nothing's wrong, there's a chance magnesium levels are running low. It's one of those supplements that people tend to notice once they start, not because it's flashy, but because their nights get easier and their days feel a bit more relaxed. But there's something even more overlooked than magnesium, and that's the idea of oversupplementing. Just because something is good doesn't mean more of it is better. In fact, many people end up taking too much of certain vitamins without realizing it. Take vitamin A, for instance. It plays a role in vision and immunity, but in high doses, it can become harmful. And the thing is, most multivitamins already include it. So if you're also taking a separate supplement or eating a diet high in fortified foods, the totals can sneak up on you. That's why reading labels is so important, not just for the food in your pantry, but for the bottles on your shelf. You'd be surprised how easy it is to double up on something without meaning to. And in some cases, the body doesn't even store the excess. It simply flushes it out. So instead of getting more benefits, you're just creating expensive urine and putting unnecessary strain on your kidneys. There's a kind of freedom that comes from simplifying, from narrowing your focus to what truly supports you and letting go of what doesn't. You don't have to chase the latest super pill or wonder if you're missing out on some secret that everyone else seems to know. Most of the time, it comes back to the basics. Knowing your body, understanding your habits, and staying curious enough to ask questions when something feels off. And that curiosity matters, especially when it comes to supplements that are heavily marketed towards seniors. You've likely seen ads for memory boosters, brain pills, or energy blends that promise to restore youth or erase fatigue. Many of these products are more hype than help. They often use fancy-sounding herbs or combinations that haven't been proven to do what they claim. And they rely on fear. Fear of forgetting things. Fear of slowing down. Fear of being left behind. But aging isn't about fear. It's about choosing how you want to live. And part of that choice comes from what you put into your body, not just once in a while, but consistently. If you're already eating a colorful, whole foods-based diet, drinking enough water, moving regularly, and sleeping well, you may not need many supplements at all. And if your meals are more limited, due to appetite, digestion, or other factors, then the right targeted support can help bridge the gaps. So instead of wondering whether you're doing too little or too much, start tuning in. Notice how your body feels when you wake up. Pay attention to your digestion, your energy, your focus. These little signals can help you build a rhythm. One that doesn't depend on a dozen bottles lined up on the counter, but on your own inner sense of balance. And that sense of balance can grow stronger with just a few mindful steps, not drastic changes, not complicated regimens. Just steady attention to the things that keep you feeling clear-headed, steady on your feet, and grounded in your day. Now, let's finish up by focusing on a few final truths that can help you make supplement decisions with confidence and with peace of mind that you're doing what's right for your body. There's something powerful about learning to trust yourself when it comes to health. Not in a reckless or dismissive way, but in the quiet confidence that grows when you've paid attention to your body over time. That trust is especially important when navigating all the noise around supplements. Because when you walk into a pharmacy or health food store, it's easy to be overwhelmed by shelves full of promises and bottles. Promises of more energy, clearer thinking, stronger bones, better digestion, all wrapped in shiny labels and persuasive language. But the truth is, not everything on those shelves was made with you in mind. Many products are formulated for the general population or younger adults with entirely different nutritional needs. Others are designed with trendy ingredients that haven't stood the test of time or science. And some are simply redundant, adding nothing to your routine but expense and confusion. That's why it's helpful to shift your focus away from what's popular and onto what's practical. Take, for instance, the sudden explosion of collagen powders. You might see them everywhere these days, in beauty supplements, joint formulas, or even coffee creamers. They're marketed as the key to smoother skin or less achy knees. But while collagen can be beneficial for some people, especially when combined with vitamin C to aid absorption, it's not a miracle. And if you're already getting enough protein from your meals, you may not notice much difference from adding it in powder form. Then there's the matter of digestive enzymes, another category that's been pushed heavily in recent years. The idea is simple: help your body break down food better so you get more nutrients. But here's the catch: if your digestion is working just fine, extra enzymes might not make any noticeable change. And if your digestion is off, the cause might be something else entirely, like low stomach acid or a medication interfering with gut function. That's the kind of issue worth exploring with a doctor, not masking with a supplement. It's these kinds of nuances that make the difference. Rather than falling into the trap of adding more, it's worth stepping back and asking what's truly supporting your health right now. And it's okay for that answer to shift over time. What your body needs in your 70s might be different from what it needed 10 years ago, or even last year. Hormones shift, absorption rates change, and so do your habits. What stays consistent, though, is your ability to make informed choices. That includes knowing when it's time to take a break. Some supplements are best used in cycles, not continuously. Iron is a great example of this. While it's vital for red blood cell function, taking it when your levels are already normal can lead to constipation, stomach upset, or even more serious problems over time. Instead of guessing, you can get a simple blood test to see where you stand. From there, you can decide whether support is needed and for how long. Then there's the emotional side of supplements, the part that doesn't get talked about enough. The comfort of feeling like you're doing something good for yourself, especially when life feels uncertain. The hope that a new bottle on your nightstand might be the thing that finally brings relief. And while it's healthy to be proactive, it's also important to avoid placing all your faith in pills, even the natural ones. Real healing happens in the bigger picture. In your meals, your movement, your mindset, and the way you wake up and greet the day. Sometimes, the most meaningful change comes not from adding a supplement, but from subtracting the things that no longer serve you. Whether it's a product that made big promises and didn't deliver, or a routine that's become more stressful than supportive, there's value in letting go. And there's strength in choosing simplicity. That's what creates space for clarity, for calm, and for genuine wellness to grow. So as you move forward, ask yourself this: is this supplement making me feel better, or is it just filling a gap I haven't taken time to examine? Am I using this because it aligns with my goals and how I want to feel, or because I feel pressure to do something, anything to stay ahead of aging? Those questions aren't meant to cause worry. They're an invitation to come back to your own wisdom, to listen to your body's cues and trust what you know. Because your body is still communicating with you, even now. It's still adapting, still healing, still trying its best to carry you through the day. And you have more influence over that process than you think. With the right balance of awareness, nutrition, movement, and support, yes, sometimes with the help of supplements, you can feel more vibrant, more stable, and more empowered than ever. If you've been wondering where to begin, start with what feels simple. Start with the supplements that support what your body is already trying to do, not what it's being forced to do. Start with the ones that help you sleep better, move easier, or think more clearly. And don't be afraid to let go of the rest. Because when you give your body what it actually needs and remove what it doesn't, you create room for energy to return and wellness to feel natural again. You deserve to feel strong, clear-headed, and capable. You deserve a health routine that makes sense for your life, not someone else's. So here's to fewer bottles, more confidence, and the kind of calm energy that comes from truly knowing yourself. Stay curious, stay gentle with your choices, and most of all, stay connected to the wisdom you built along the way. Now, go ahead and enjoy this day and every day with your head high and your health in your hands.